Hello there, my friends. Derek from Bomb Socks here with another edition of Bomb Bites, where we feast upon the words of Christ and we do it one bite at a time. So today's episode, full disclosure, I've been thinking a lot about this one. This one has been on my mind quite a bit, and I've prayed about this, and I've thought about it. I've consulted friends about this. I've talked to people about this because I want to approach this appropriately. This could be a pretty sensitive topic because I think it's something that we all struggle with, and I want to approach it properly. So I was talking to my wife the other day. She's going through the Come Follow Me. I'm going through the Come Follow Me, and we were talking about it one morning, and she said something to me, and she said, I've been reading about Moroni, and she said, Moroni seems like he is a very angry person. And honestly, I think she's right. I know she's right. Every time I'm reading about Moroni, Moroni is filled with passion. And we've talked about passion as a good thing. But oftentimes those passions, when they are unchecked, can kind of go all kinds of different directions. And Moroni oftentimes is angry. And quite frankly, I don't blame him. I don't blame him one dang bit. Moroni is a hero, and I don't want to portray him any other way. Moroni is a hero. I mean, here's Mormon who said, if all men could be like Moroni, this guy is shaking hell. I mean, he is a good guy. In fact, Mormon names his own son Moroni. So I don't want to suggest anything else other than that Moroni is a hero. I also want to suggest that Moroni is a human. And he'd be the first one to admit that as well. I mean, this man is firm in the faith of Christ. He defended his people. He was a fierce defender of the people to the point where his anger, I think, sometimes got the best of him. I think it goes to, that's the way he responded to Pahoran. And I think maybe Pahoran knew Moroni. Maybe he knew his propensity to get angry. And so that's why he was like, you censured me. It doesn't really matter, because he knows maybe if I go after this guy, this is going to get ugly. And so I don't know. It's a tough one. But you look at a couple examples where it shows Moroni's anger. For example, you go back to chapter 54. Now, 54 and 55 are some interesting letters where Moroni and Amoron, or Amoron, whatever you want to call him, are bouncing back and forth talking about exchanging prisoners. And actually, there's kind of a cool little story. And it's something that always works. Just get the Lamanite guards drunk and everybody's going to be fine. That's what happened in chapter 55. So anyway, you can read that. It's another time. But go to chapter 54. Look at verse number 13. And in this interchange, Moroni says, "Behold, I am in my anger, and also my people. You've sought to murder us." Like I said, this is an intense time period. This is a time full of frustration. It's a time that's full of emotion. And so if we're not careful, these emotions can very well get the best of us. So chapter 54 and 55 are just a couple of angry guys bouncing back and forth. And it's a tough story. And so anger, if it is unchecked, can actually be to your disadvantage. I really believe that. Let me show you what I mean by that. This guy right here, you want to talk about a hero, Teancum. Teancum is one of the heroes of the Book of Mormon. Like I said, he's the special forces guy. He's the Chuck Norris. He's the Jason Bourne. He's that guy who's just able to do so many things. And he is faithful. He is a man who is faithful as Moroni. But let me show you something right here. There's a little lesson that I think we got to be careful with. First of all, let me go back to chapter 51 for a moment. So back in chapter 51, you got Teancum, who is so done with Amalickiah. He is done with him. They've been fighting back and forth. So you go to verses 33 through 35. It says, "It came to pass when night had come, Teancum and his servant stole forth and went out by night, went into the camp of Amalickiah, and behold, sleep had overpowered them because of their much fatigue, which was caused by the labors and the heat of the day. And it came to pass that Teancum stole privily into the tent of the king, and put a javelin to his heart. And he did cause the death of the king immediately, that he did not wake his servants. And he returned privily to his own camp. And behold, his men were asleep. And he awoke them and told them all the things that they had done." And then Teancum stands ready when they come out. And he's like, "Yeah, what's now? I got your king. He's dead." This seemed to be very calculated, very planned out, very well done, to the point where Amalickiah was dead. Teancum got him right in the heart. It seemed like it was planned out and methodical, and it seemed like it was well done. It was very strategic in the way he did it. Now, Fast forward to chapter 62, where you've got Amalickiah's brother, Amoron, or Amaron, whatever camp you decide you want to call him there. We'll call him Amaron just to be nice. So in chapter 62, Amaron has been giving them grief. So you go to verses 35 and 36, and it says, "And thus they did encamp for the night. For behold, the Nephites and the Lamanites also were weary because of the greatness of the march. Therefore, they did not resolve upon any stratagem in the nighttime." So they didn't have a plan. Save it were Teancum. Now, Teancum has a plan. It says, "For behold, he was exceedingly angry with Amaron." And again, rightfully so. I get it. I totally get it. Insomuch that he considered that Amaron and Amalickiah his brother had been the cause of this great and lasting war between them and the Lamanites, which had been the cause of so much war and bloodshed and so much famine. He's right. He's right. Verse 36, "And it came to pass that Teancum in his anger." Now that's a scary statement. "Teancum in his anger did go forth into the camp of the Lamanites, and did let himself down over the walls of the city, and he went forth with a cord from place to place, insomuch that he did find the king, and he did cast a javelin at him, which did pierce him near the heart. But behold, the king did awaken his servants before he died, insomuch that they did pursue Teancum and slew him." It almost to me sounds like Teancum got a little sloppy. When you are in the previous chapter, back in chapter 51, it doesn't say anything about Teancum in his anger. In this chapter, it says he is angry. And when you are running by your emotions like that, sometimes you can get very sloppy. Moroni kind of got that way with Pehoran. His anger got the best of him. Thank goodness Pehoran responded properly. In this particular story, Teancum in his anger went in and just cast a javelin at him. In the other one, it seemed very methodical. In this one, he cast it at him, and what happened? It got him near the heart and got himself killed. Now, verse 37 is kind of a tragic end. It says, "Now it came to pass that when Lehi and Moroni knew that Teancum was dead, they were exceedingly sorrowful. For behold, he had been a man who had fought valiantly for his country, yea, a true friend to liberty." Boy, what a tribute there. "And he had suffered very many exceedingly sore afflictions." That's a lot. Very many when you toss those two together. "But behold, he was dead and had gone the way of all the earth." So what's the lesson here? I think the lesson here is anger, if it is unchecked, can be something that can get you to be very sloppy. When was the last time where you look and think, boy, I am sure glad I got angry because that worked really well? I really believe, guys, there's only one person who has ever lived that handles anger correctly, and that's Jesus Christ. And he can do that because he's Jesus and he's perfect. I think the rest of us, the rest of mankind, does not get anger correctly. We try to do it right and we get it wrong. Here's a couple quotes that I thought was interesting. If you find yourself with the propensity to get a little bit more angry, I want you to listen carefully. Listen just more as just a simple warning. I'm not trying to say you're angry, you're a horrible person. All of us get angry. You get angry. Having that emotion does not make you a horrible person. It's often how we respond to those emotions. We have the choice. We have the choice. That anger can come to us, but then we have a choice on how we're going to respond. Elder Lynn G. Robbins said this quote, and I thought it was great. He said, "Understanding the connection between agency and anger is the first step from eliminating it from our lives. We can choose not to become angry, and we can make that choice today. Right now, I will never become angry again. Ponder this resolution." That was from a talk called Agency and Anger back in April of 2008 General Conference. If you find yourself struggling with it, go back and read it. I mean, you call this your Bom-Bites Anger Management Course. It's a way to just help anybody who seems to have a propensity towards that. And that's where the beauty of the atonement of Jesus Christ. You don't have to be a slave to that. It is something that you can overcome with a choice. And again, I don't want to portray Moroni or Teancum as less faithful. Please do not misunderstand me on that one. That's why I wanted to be very careful with this one, because these guys are heroes. But even heroes do have their character flaws that can be to your detriment if you are not careful. So if you find yourself struggling with that anger, get it taken care of, get it in check. Trust that the Savior can help you through that. So I wanted to be super careful with that one because I know it's a sensitive topic, but you guys are wonderful. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you for sharing our messages. We're just trying to share some goodness and help a world that's in desperate need of it. So you guys are great. Have an amazing day, an amazing weekend, and Godspeed. Bye-bye.